All right, future CPAs, let's get into it. Today, we are tackling a topic that loves to pop up on the LCPA. And honestly, it can totally mess with your head if you're not ready for it. We're talking share warrants and share rights. But stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to have a brain hack that makes these problems an absolute breeze. Let's do this. Okay, picture it. You're deep into the exam, the clock is ticking loud, and then you see this question. Bonds with warrants? All these numbers? Your brain kind of freezes, right? Panic mode starts to set in. You start thinking, what's the trick? What am I missing here? It feels way more complicated than it actually is.
And here it is. This is the secret sauce. The one thing you have to burn into your memory. This isn't one big, scary transaction. Nope, it's actually two separate things just bundled together for one price. The moment your brain flips that switch and sees it this way, the entire problem just clicks. This is the key to what the standards call a compound financial instrument.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by cracking the code on these compound instruments. Then I'll give you the master tool for splitting them up, the residual method. After that, we dive into the main event, warrants. We'll clear up any confusion with their tricky cousin, share rights, and then figure out what happens when they're either used or they expire. And to wrap it all up, we'll build your ultimate LECPA cheat sheet. Let's go.
Okay, first things first. Before we can solve anything, we got to understand the why behind it. So let's crack the code on what these so-called compound instruments really are.
So, according to the Philippine accounting standards, yep, good old PAS 32, a compound financial instrument basically has two different personalities hiding inside of it. It's part debt, which is a liability, and it's part potential ownership, which is equity. And the rules are super clear. You cannot, I repeat, cannot, just lump them together. You have to split them up from day one.
And this breaks it down perfectly. On one hand, you've got the liability. Think of this as a simple IOU. It's the bond itself, a straightforward promise to pay back cash later. But then you have the equity component. These are the warrants. Think of them like a golden ticket, giving the holder the option to buy shares in the company. Two totally different things, a liability and an equity, somehow born from a single transaction.
Okay, so if we have to split them, the big question is how? How much of that P1.2M from our example goes to the bonds, and how much goes to the warrants? Well, this is where your new best friend comes in, the residual method. Let me show you how it works. It's actually so simple it feels like cheating. Just 3 steps. Step 1, take the total cash you got. Easy. Step 2, figure out the fair value of just the liability part, so the bonds, as if the warrants didn't even exist. Don't worry, the exam problem will almost always give you this number. And step 3, whatever is left over, the residual, boom, that's the value you give to the equity part, the warrants. That's it. Total cash minus the fair value of the debt equals the value of the equity.
Now that we've got the tool, let's put it to work. We're going to walk through the most common way you'll see this on the exam, accounting for bonds that are issued with these detachable share warrants.
And check this out. This is how it all looks in your journal entry. It's beautiful, right? You debit cash for the whole pile of money you received. Then you credit bonds payable for its fair value. That's the number from step 2. And finally, that leftover amount, that residual from step 3, that gets its own credit in an equity account, usually called share premium warrants. The entry perfectly shows the two-part nature of the deal. And this right here, this is the golden number. This is the value of the equity piece that you've successfully carved out. Recognizing that this amount is not a liability, that it's actually part of shareholders' equity from the very beginning, is the absolute key. Get this right, and you're well on your way to acing the whole problem.
Okay, you're feeling pretty good about warrants now, right? But hold on. The LECPA loves to see if you can tell the difference between warrants and their very confusing cousin, share rights. Let's make sure you never, ever get these two mixed up.
Now, the magic words here are existing shareholders. That is the number one thing to remember. Share rights are offered to the people who already own the company. It's like an exclusive offer for the insiders. Warrants are usually sold to outsiders, new investors, along with bonds. Rights are for the family.
And this, screenshot this with your brain, because this is the million-peso distinction on your exam. For warrants, we do the whole residual method. We make a formal journal entry, the whole shebang. For share rights, we do nothing. Zilch. Nada. Because no money changes hands when the rights are just issued, there's no formal accounting entry to make. You just jot down a little note, a memorandum entry saying, hey, we issued some rights today. That's a massive difference.
So what happens after these things are issued? They don't last forever. The person holding them has a choice. Either you use them or you lose them. Let's look at the accounting for both. What happens next? This table tells you everything. Now, if the holder exercises them, meaning they actually buy the shares, it's basically the same for both. You get cash, you issue new shares. Simple. But what if they just expire? This is where they're different again. For warrants, that share premium warrants account we made can't just hang around. We have to reclassify it, basically move the balance to another share premium account. For expired rights, well, since we did nothing at the start, you guessed it, we do absolutely nothing at the end. Easy.
All right. We have covered a ton of ground. Now, let's boil it all down into the ultimate cheat sheet. This is what you look at one last time before you walk into that exam room. Let's do a rapid-fire run-through. See a compound instrument, your brain should immediately scream liability plus equity. How do you split it? Residual method. Total cash minus the liability's fair value. Warrants are issued with other stuff and get a full journal entry. Rights are for existing shareholders and get a memo entry only. If they're exercised, you issue new shares. If they expire, warrants get reclassified and rights get nothing. Done.
And there you have it. You are now officially equipped to crush any question on detachable warrants and share rights that the LCPA can throw at you. You know the brain hack. Don't see one complex problem, see two simple pieces. But that brings up a really good question for next time. What if that equity option wasn't detachable, but was built right into the bond itself, like with convertible bonds? How would that change things up? We'll leave that one with you. Keep up the amazing work, and I'll catch you on the next one.